Hello everyone. Today I'm gonna do my presentation on hydrogen sulfide for the assignment SATC112 loss control for the spring semester 2025. My name is Alan Bonnie. So let's get started with the presentation. So in this presentation we are going to talk about hydrogen sulfide, the introduction to it, and then we're gonna move on to the health effects of hydrogen sulfide, and then we're gonna talk about the common routes of entry of hydrogen sulfide, and then the exposure limits the state and government agencies set for the employers, and then we'll go through the final tips and takeaways. So hydrogen sulfide. Uh, What is hydrogen sulfide? Hydrogen sulfide is a toxic colorless gas having strong rotten eggs odor. It occurs naturally in crude petroleum, natural gas, volcanic gases, and hot springs. Hydrogen sulfide can be a result of industrial activities such as food processing, coke ovens, craft paper mills, tanneries, and petroleum refineries. It is flammable, it's a colorless gas, it has a characteristic odor of rotten eggs. It has a boiling point at negative 60.2 degrees Celsius. It is shipped as liquid. It has a density of 8.3 pounds per gallon. Hydrogen sulfide can also be produced by animal or human waste. Next, we're going to talk about the health effects of hydrogen sulfide on human body. There are many health effects that hydrogen sulfide can have on a human body. We were just gonna talk about a few of them over here. Acute lung injury is one of the effects of hydrogen sulfide on human body. Acute lung injury is a condition characterized by a sudden decrease in lung function, primarily affecting gas exchange, and then that effect is asthma. Asthma is a chronic respiratory disease characterized by inflammation and narrowing of the airways, leading to symptoms like wheezing, shortness of breath, and chest tightness. Hydrogen sulfide can also cause brain diseases, a wide range of disorders affecting brain and nervous system like Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, stroke, multiple sclerosis, and epilepsy. The other effect is cardiotoxicity, the occurrence of heart dysfunction as electric or muscle damage resulting in heart toxicity. And the other effect is chemical and drug-induced liver injury. Chemicals damage the liver and can cause inflammation such as hepatitis and cholestasis, which is an impairment of bile flow. It can also cause irritation to the eyes, and it can cause frostbite when a human comes in contact with it with his or her skin. And when inhaled, it can affect the nose, throat, and it can cause nose, throat, and lung irritation with coughing and severe shortness of breath, also known as pulmonary edema. The common routes of entry that hydrogen sulfide can be able to enter into the human bodies are there are three primary ways that it can enter. The main one is inhalation, which is through the nose and into the lungs. The next common route of entry is the eye contact, and the last one is ingestion, which is when it is absorbed in through the skin. The symptoms of exposure to hydrogen sulfide can be through inhalation. Exposure can cause cough, headache, dizziness, nausea, labored breathing, shortness of breath, irregular heartbeat, convulsions, and unconsciousness. The skin exposure can cause frostbite, especially when a patient comes in contact with liquid hydrogen sulfide. The eye exposure to hydrogen sulfide can cause redness, pain, irritation eyes, respiratory system, apnea, coma, convulsions, conjunctivitis, eye pain, lacrimation, photophobia, corneal vesiculation, dizziness, headache, lassitude, irritability, insomnia, gastrointestinal disturbance, liquid frostbite. It can also cause exposure when eye has lower concentration of exposure to hydrogen sulfide. It can cause irritation, throat and cough, nausea, shortness of breath, lungs issues, and long-term low-level exposure to hydrogen sulfide can cause fatigue, loss of appetite, headaches, irritability, poor memory, and dizziness. Higher concentration of hydrogen sulfide in the human body can be fatal and can lead to death eventually. The exposure limits of hydrogen sulfide on human body. Certain government agencies have produced regulations that limit the exposure of hydrogen sulfide to minimum for employees that are working in industrial areas or areas that has high chances of being exposed to hydrogen sulfide. The table here shows the threshold limit value for the three agencies and the minimum amount of time to be exposed to the hydrogen sulfide. The American Conference of Government Industrial Hygienists has a threshold limit value for 1 parts per million, which is for an 8-hour time weighted average for an employee. And it also has a 5 parts per million for short-term exposure limit. The OSHA, Occupational Safety and Health Administration, has a ceiling limit of 20 parts per million for an 8-hour shift work. There's a peak limit of 50 parts per million for a 10-minute maximum peak. The National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health has a REL, a recommended exposure limit of 10 parts per million, which is also can be 15 milligrams per cubic meter for an exposure of 10 minutes. It also has a PEL, 20 parts per million with a peak of 50 parts per million for 10-minute shift. So these are the threshold limit value for the three agencies that have these certain exposure limits of hydrogen sulfide on human body. So final tips and takeaways. Hydrogen sulfide is a colorless toxic gas that occurs naturally or released from industrial activities as a byproduct. Hydrogen sulfide has several negative effects on human body that can be detrimental to the health of human body. It can cause lung injury, brain disease, irritation, and frostbites, and so many other side effects. There are 3 main common routes of entry that is known that hydrogen sulfide can enter a human body, which are inhalation, which is through nose or mouth when a person breathes, and eye contact, or ingestion, which is when it is absorbed through a person's skin. The 3 agencies have their own threshold limit value for exposure of employees working in area that are prone to hydrogen sulfide. They have 1 parts per million, 20 parts per million, or 10 parts per million respectively. and that is all about hydrogen sulfide. Thank you for your attention. If you have any questions or concerns, leave them in the comments below. Thank you.